With Judgment, the Yakuza devs hit it out of the park. This new Yakuza spin-off takes place in the familiar yet fictional Komuro district of Tokyo. Despite initial concerns of the game not really having an identity of its own under the shadow of the long-running series, Judgment exhibits many notable deviations from your typical Kazuma Kiryu title. Regardless, the game still holds many similarities, both good and bad, from the mainline series. Judgment manages to capture the charm and spirit of the series, while introducing a new cast of characters, mechanics, and tone. It's a game that plays out like a tense crime drama tied with the quirky masculine core of the Yakuza series. Judgment puts you in the shoes of ex-defense attorney turned private investigator Takayuki Yagami. He stumbles upon a mysterious set of killings in which the victims all have their eyes gouged out. The story is genuinely engaging and easily kept me invested from beginning to end. Admittedly, I found parts of the story to be rather predictable, but it didn't really detract from my overall enjoyment of the narrative. Thematically, Judgment hones in on duality, with Yagami navigating through the world of crime and justice while having ties to both. He often investigates crime scenes and engages in scuffles with members of the Yakuza. The former concludes with dramatic court cases and surprising discoveries, while the latter results in escalating levels of action and violence. Eventually, the two intersect, and that's when things get really interesting. Criminal ties to authority and political corruption slowly unveil, as Yagami figures out the truth behind the strange, grisly murders. In some vague sense, it reminded me of the duality theme surrounding Sleeping Dogs, as well as the immensely enjoyable attorney work of Phoenix Wright. Judgment's cast of characters is fun and likable, with some being reminiscent of past Yakuza characters, while others feeling completely fresh. Characters like Kaito, Sugiura, and Ayabe were especially memorable and surprisingly endearing, while a character like Hamura excelled as a true Yakuza villain. The game's focus on a sole main protagonist allowed for a tighter, more concentrated cast, unlike Yakuza 5, which arguably spread itself too thin. Generally speaking, there's a good degree of nuance in the main characters of the story. Unfortunately, Judgment lacks any notable female characters, which despite the general trends of the mainline games, still left me a bit disappointed. Admittedly, the series has always been male-driven, with female characters primarily playing second fiddle, but it would have been nice to see the writers expand the cast to feature at least one female character worth even noting. There's no denying the male-centric roots of the series, but I doubt the addition of such a character would seriously detract from the game's masculinity. Female characters are mostly relegated to service, love interest, and hostage roles. Judgment features two of the iconic hostess dress-up moments that were a bit hit and miss for me. One situation in particular felt incredibly shoehorned in, and overall, the developers probably could have avoided the cliché setup altogether. Regardless, Judgment's action scenes occasionally crescendo into exciting, adrenaline-filled artistry. Few games manage to be quite as awe-inspiring as Judgment when it comes down to riveting action sequences. The rule of cool is front and center as with the previous Yakuza titles. However, the developers really managed to succeed in crafting new and often exhilarating scenarios that add immensely to captivating the audience. Along with excellent camera work for dramatic effect, Judgment completely owns its crime drama action hybrid of an identity. Combat flows with a sort of beat-em-up style revolving around combo attacks, special EX moves, and environmental weapons. Yagami has two fighting stances, Crane and Tiger. Where Crane dishes out wide-sweeping attacks to deal with huge crowds, Tiger provides powerful single-target moves that easily break enemy guard. Along with Yagami's ability to jump off walls, Judgment's combat is a joy to play. Getting into fights with enemies is always a spectacle, with fast and satisfying attacks as well as the heavy-hitting EX moves that both look and sound painful. Besides combat, Judgment makes effective use of Yagami's role as a detective. In the big picture, Judgment is like if you wanted to keep Yakuza's hard-hitting cinematic combat while incorporating detective-based mechanics on the side. The game carefully balances between the familiar yet fresh combat system along with sleuthy behavior such as lockpicking, investigating, drone spying, tailing, and the like. There's a strong blend of mechanics holding up the typical combat from getting stale. In terms of brawling, it's as great as it's always been. However, the health management aspect has always left the difficulty somewhat compromised. Players can heal on the fly, resulting in quite an easy experience. To add insult to injury, death rewards the player with a full health bar and EX gauge, creating a fun yet conflicting experience. Sure, It is designed to avoid discouraging the player, but it's also asking the player to set the difficulty for themselves. To that end, it's really a matter of choice whether or not the player decides to heal during fights, resulting in possibly too much freedom for some. It's a challenging and satisfying experience without healing, and a smooth ride with, appealing to both the hardcore and the casual to a certain extent. Beyond the excellent blend of fist-fighting detective work, Judgment is host to a slew of side activities. From shopping at stores to playing arcade games, Kamurocho is full of fun and interesting things to do. With the title falling within the open world genre, Judgment features plenty of side missions to accomplish and secondary characters to assist. All these activities provide rewards in the form of skill points to further improve on Yagami's abilities. Even the very act of trying out new food at restaurants comes with skill point incentives. On the surface level, Kamurocho feels alive. The environmental design is pitch perfect with its authentic shops, food joints, and massive buildings. When traversing the open world, the clubs blare out party music, the commercials play loudly, and the traffic sounds add that cherry on top of the imaginary authenticity sundae. Following past titles in the series, Judgment excels in giving the player a sense of actually being in Tokyo's fictional district. Finally, the soundtrack is superb with a classy mix of funk, rock, and electronic music that certainly amazes. Judgment is an absolute roller coaster of an experience that I wholeheartedly recommend. It's an intense investigative adventure full of drama, action, and heart. If this is the direction the series is headed, I have high hopes for the future. The developers effectively used the well-established Yakuza formula to tell a brand new story. Without a doubt, Judgment is worth playing for both fans and newcomers alike. Thanks for watching the review. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like the video and consider subscribing to my channel. If you want more, here are some of my other videos. The original review was written for DarkStation, and was provided a review copy. See you all next time when I review Sony's E3 2019 press conference.